How can you be empowered no matter what cycle of life you're in? This video will answer that question. Hi, I'm Cheryl Hunter, best-selling author of Use It, Turn Setbacks into Success. Recently, I was home visiting my family. I went back for the memorial service of a dear aunt. While I was there, I caught a really pretty fascinating episode of Antiques Roadshow. There was a man who brought in a very, very old chest. He was sure that it was, this old storage chest was probably 400 years old. Not so, said the appraiser. It was probably closer to 300 years old. Then the appraiser said, but with this type of piece, 300 years, 400 years, it's all the same thing. There's no difference of 100 years. And I chuckled to myself and I thought, well, not necessarily so if you're a human being. Well, you know, the passage of time and history are very kind to furniture. They're not necessarily kind to people. I was starting to pay attention to the cycles of life and noticing what the passage of time does to people as I was spending time with my beloved grandmother and watching what was so with her, and spending time even with my parents and noticing what the passage of time and their different life cycles were doing to them. And lest I think I was immune, I was completely amused by how my local newspaper from when I was a kid, it had suddenly shrunk the print size. The font size was so small I could only read it if my arms were fully extended. And I thought, okay, all kidding aside, I started to notice the different cycles of life that we all go through predictably if we're fortunate enough to live long enough. And at first I was quite saddened by it. It seemed all so melancholy, like, wow, how is it fair that a piece of furniture seems to have more of a legacy than does a human life? And then I started to examine it and I realized, aha, that's not necessarily so. There is a way that each of us can have a legacy. I was pondering this as I went to bed and was reading a novel from someone who had long since, decades since, longer than that, since passed away. And I realized that when we're fulfilling what we say we were put here for, our purpose, it does live on over time and it does build a legacy. And I think that there's no easier way, no more simple way to do that than to simply ask yourself the question, what am I here for? And then discovering what that answer is, make sure that you're doing that thing every single day to some extent, that you're fulfilling upon that which is your biggest contribution. Who gets to say what that is? Only you. So really, you know, of all the conversations that we could engage in with those that we love, of all the things we could possibly talk about, it seems like the most valuable thing then to discuss with those that we love is to ask them the question, what are you here for? What is your purpose? What do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to contribute? And then support them and let them support us in doing just that. How does that sound to you? What is your legacy? What do you want that to be? I'd love to hear from you. Using the comments box below, what do you say your life is for? And more importantly, what are you doing about that today? It's so easy to get caught up in, well, my legacy, well, I'll do that, you know, someday, maybe at the end of my life sometime. How about now? How about living your legacy now, fulfilling that now? Then no matter what cycle of life you're in and whatever the passage of time is doing to you, it's a much far more senior context that puts all that we're dealing with into a far greater perspective. Really, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. I read each and every comment that you write. If you like this video, share it with your friends and family, particularly those people that you want to engage in this question with. or those that you notice are having a hard time with the passage of time and whatever new life cycle they may be in, that they haven't yet found a home in, or maybe they're resisting or hating it even. Pass this along to them. It'll make a difference. Engage in that conversation with them. It'll make a difference as well. Also, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel and give the video a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed at CherylHunter.com, do that for premium content and to be kept abreast of all sorts of things that I only send out to people on my list. Thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging in what is such a noble question. Have your life make a difference.